Good morning, dear students. We are going to discuss histology of nervous tissue today. So, in the nervous tissue, what are we going to see? Like you have been studying right from your schooling, like it is made up of neurons. The structure of neuron is actually very easy, and you have been studying. It's everybody is, I think, very much familiar with. So, basic neuron is nothing but the basic structural and functional unit of nervous system. It has a cell body. It can be also called as soma, and it has two group of processes. Like you are finding many in number, those are dendrites, and the other process what we are finding is axon. So the function of neuron is nothing but it is receiving, integrating, and transmitting electrochemical messages. So other supporting cells are also there in the nervous system or the nervous tissue, that is neuroglial cells. So nervous tissue, it has also been discussed when we were doing general anatomy, isn't it? Then, when you just look into the structure of neuron, cell is euchromatic. It has large central nucleus, prominent nucleolus. It has many dendrites and one axon. So within the cytoplasm, if you observe, it has certain granules which are called as Nissen's bodies. Okay, it has Golgi complex as well. Okay, mitochondria, and it has neurofilaments. You can see here this picture shows big nucleus, nucleolus. You can see the Golgi complex also. Okay. You can see the rough endoplasmic reticulum, free ribosomes, all these things, even mitochondria is also seen. So all these projections you see, these are dendrites. The one which is in continuation with the next neuron is axon. The place where axon starts is little bulged. That area is actually called as axon hillock. Okay. So that is. Now let us discuss about axon. See, each neuron has only one axon which carries impulses away from the cell. That means from presynaptic neuron to postsynaptic neuron. So axon hillock is a part of neuron which is not showing any Nissen's granules. Initial segment, a part of axon between apex of axon hillock and beginning of myelin sheath. Axolemma is nothing but axonal plasma membrane. Axoplasm is nothing but the cytoplasm as we see within the axon. Whatever liquid material is there, that is axoplasm, which will have some neurotubules, neurofilaments with some mitochondria. Axons may be again myelinated and unmyelinated. See, this is the axon cylinder. You are finding this is the node of Ranvier. This covering is myelin sheath. Then this is the exoplasm. The nucleus you are finding towards the periphery is one of the neuroglial cells, that is Schwann cell, which helps in the formation of this myelin sheath. Okay. Then once you are done with axon, now let us discuss about dendrites. So these are many in number which may branch to form dendritic tree. It receives information from other neurons. It lacks Golgi complex. Now, classification of neurons has been discussed again in general anatomy, classes of nervous system, nervous tissue. So, only a small revision of what you have already studied. So, unipolar neurons. So, cell body has one process. So, that is axon. So, such type of unipolar neurons we generally find in mesencephalic nucleus of fifth cranial nerve, that is trigeminal nerve. So, then we have pseudo unipolar. So, it has a like common stem T is there, and from there you will see one axon and one dendrite will be arising. Example is spinal ganglion. Okay. So suppose if you have like two different poles, from each pole one dendrite is coming, one axon is coming, then it is generally called as bipolar neuron. Okay. Bipolar neurons we find in olfactory neuroepithelium, bipolar cells of retina, vestibulocochlear ganglia. Then multipolar neuron is the chief neuron which is spread out in the CNS and PNS, central nervous system of our brain, and also in the spinal cord. So this multipolar neuron has one axon as you can see here and many dendrites arising from the cell body. So motor neurons, intermediate neurons, integratory neurons of central nervous system and autonomic ganglia. Okay. Now supporting cells, I said we have neuroglia. And the details of neuroglia has been discussed in general anatomy classes. Just Kindly just go back and review the class so that you will know the details of these all cells, which are supporting cells of CNS. We have star-shaped cells, which are astrocytes. Okay, so if the processes are receiving protoplasm, you call it as protoplasmic, and if they do not, if they are very thin, like fibrous, then you call it as fibrous astrocytes. We have oligodendrocytes, we have ependymal cells lining the like central canal and the ventricles of the brain, and we have microglia, which are nothing but the cells which are concerned with phagocytosis, isn't it? So just try to recollect all these cells. The neuroglia in peripheral nervous system, we have satellite cells or capsular cells. This we are going to elaborate more when we are discussing about ganglion, peripheral ganglia. So we also see Schwann cells or neurolemmocytes. The neuroglial cells of peripheral nervous system, we have just now you have seen Schwann cells and satellite cells. So Schwann cells just now I have shown you when I was discussing the structure of neuron, isn't it? So this cell which is concerned with the release formation of myelin sheath in case of peripheral nervous system is nothing but Schwann cell. Myelinated peripheral nerves have oval flattened nucleus at periphery. One cell may envelop many axons. Then satellite cells we have seen only in peripheral nervous system and around the nerve cells of ganglia, especially spinal and autonomic ganglia. Now in the peripheral nervous system, we are going to elaborate on two things. One is ganglia and the other is peripheral nerve. So in our lab, we are going to see optic nerve as one of the examples. So nerve fiber, see maybe it can be myelinated or non-myelinated, unmyelinated. Myelinated fibers of CNS have myelin sheath, but Schwann cell sheath is absent. In PNS, myelinated fibers have both myelin sheath and Schwann cell sheath. Okay, so that is the difference. The CNS and PNS, the myelinated fibers. Okay. In non-myelinated nerve fibers of PNS, myelin sheath is absent. That's how the name suggests. But Schwann cell sheath is present. In unmyelinated fibers of CNS, both myelin sheath and Schwann cell sheath are absent. Now, like you generally see the structure of muscle fiber, there also you will have. Similarly, here also, this is the structure of nerve fiber. Individual neuron, we have axon, myelin sheath, isn't it? In the surrounding of this a particular neuron, we have endoneurium. Bundles of neurons, you call it as fascicles. In fascicles, so around which we have perineurium. Whole of the nerve fiber, it is surrounded by epineurium. This is the whole nerve trunk. Example you can take as optic nerve. Okay, this is the nerve trunk. Outermost covering is epineurium. Bundle of nerve fibers, you can see that is fasciculus. It is surrounded by perineurium. Each single neuron is surrounded by endoneurium. So each peripheral nerve has bundles, fascicles, as you can see here. Within the fascicles, each nerve fiber is invested by Schwann cell and surrounded by delicate packing of supporting tissue, which is called as endoneurium. Endoneurium. So numerous blood vessels, you can see here. You will see like between these nerve fibers. So nucleus is seen within the fascicles here and there. Okay, then so those are fibroblasts and Schwann cells in endoneurium. Heavy myelinated nerve fibers can be identified by pink ring like this with pale central axon. So this is pale central axon. Okay, and this is the thick ring what you are finding. So that is the characteristic feature of heavy myelinated fibers. We are going to show you optic nerve as an example when you come to the lab. Okay, so they generally stain pink with a central pale axon. So the key identification features of the nerve fibers are arranged in bundles. You can see this is one bundle, 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 bundle. So many bundles are there. Okay, so in fascicles. Then, so perineurium is covering the fascicles. Okay, so you can see this is the perineurium. Okay, then epineurium is actually covering the whole outside nerve. Okay, then you can see the bundles very clearly over here. Okay, nerve fiber. So we have nuclei of Schwann cells, myelinated axons, the fibrocytes. Okay, these are all nerve bundles. Okay, and of course these are blood vessels. We have arteries, arterioles. Okay, then this is the longitudinal section of again nerve fiber. So we have all long cylindrical nerve cells. So central axon with myelinated sheath. Okay, you can see this is the axon. This is also axon. Okay, and it has myelinated sheath, and this like you are finding there is a node in between. Okay, that is nothing but nodes of Ranvier. Okay, so this is whole thing is axon, myelin sheath, and you are finding the Schwann cells outside. Now, after understanding this, we will try to understand what is ganglia. So, ganglia is nothing but collection of cell bodies of neurons in peripheral nervous system. Okay, so central nervous system is made up of brain and spinal cord. Whatever nerves are coming from the brain, like 12 pairs of cranial nerves, 31 pairs of spinal nerves, they all come under the category of peripheral nervous system. So wherever in the peripheral nervous system, if you are finding collections like this, okay, of nothing but cell bodies of neurons, then you call such a collection of cell bodies of neurons in PNS as the ganglion. So based on the area where they are present, they have been classified as sensory ganglion and autonomic ganglion. So sensory ganglion, you see dorsal root ganglion or spinal ganglion. Okay, then autonomic ganglion, we have functionally, we have sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay, nothing but the collection of cell bodies of neurons in PNS. Now coming to sensory ganglion. So sensory ganglion, what is the other name? You see with the cut section of spinal cord, right? Like from your schooling, you have been studying this structure. This bulged area on the posterior aspect of the spinal cord. When the spinal nerve is coming out, this collection of cell bodies is actually nothing but dorsal root ganglion, also called as sensory ganglion. So if you just take the histological section of that particular dorsal root ganglion, it contains all pseudo unipolar neurons. Okay, these are the pseudo unipolar neurons what you are seeing here, which are quite like large in size. They are arranged in groups situated in the peripheral part of the ganglia. Group of cells are separated by group of myelinated nerve fibers. Cell body of each neuron is surrounded by flat capsular cells, that is called these cells. These are nothing but satellite cells. Now, ganglia is covered by connective tissue capsule outside. So this is sensory ganglion. These are all pseudo unipolar neurons, 1, 2, 3. We are finding certain cells surrounding these pseudo unipolar neurons, which are nothing but satellite cells. The outside whole of this ganglia is connected, covered by connective tissue. So next we have autonomic ganglion. So autonomic ganglion, it contains multipolar neurons. Okay, so autonomic ganglion, I'll show you once. See, this is the spinal cord. So in the autonomous nervous system, we have sympathetic and parasympathetic, right? So on either side of the spinal cord, you can see this blue chain on either side, which is nothing but the sympathetic chain. Okay, this is the sympathetic part of the autonomous nervous system. Similarly, from the cranial nerves also, you can see certain ganglion shown in yellow color. Okay, we have sympathetic and parasympathetic ganglions. Okay, so these ganglions are what are they made up of? Multipolar neuron. Like you know the structure of multipolar neuron very well, isn't it? Like this it is. When you look histologically, okay. So this autonomic ganglia, it contains multipolar neurons like this. These are all multipolar neurons. Okay, this one bigger in size. These are all multipolar neurons. Neurons are small in size. They are scattered throughout the ganglions. Okay, see these are the neurons. They are scattered. We are also finding few Nissel's granules. Then satellite cells. The surrounding cells around this ganglion are comparatively less. Okay, so satellite cells were more in the previous ganglion, that is the dorsal root ganglion, whereas they are less in case of autonomic ganglion. So nerve fibers are usually non-myelinated and thin. Okay, this is how the autonomic ganglion looks. These are all pseudo unipolar neurons with clear Nissel's granules. You can see all these granules. Okay, and few satellite cells around. Okay, those are the characteristic features of autonomic ganglion. Now let us see, like compare and contrast. Sensory ganglion just remembers dorsal root ganglion of spinal cord. So the neurons, what type of neurons do we have? Pseudo unipolar. Whereas in autonomic ganglion, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic, we have multipolar neurons. The size of sensory ganglion, they are large in size, whereas autonomic ganglion, they are small. Now then shape. Coming to shape, sensory ganglia, they are actually round, whereas in autonomic ganglia, you can see they are angular. The size may be varying in case of sensory ganglion, whereas the size of autonomic ganglion, they are actually uniform. Same, the sympathetic chain, what I have shown you from upper part to the lower part. The nucleus, in sensory ganglion, it is central, whereas in case of peripheral autonomic ganglion, it is like eccentric, that is pushed to one corner. Then arrangement, you will see the cells are arranged in groups, whereas the cells are scattered in case of autonomic ganglion. Then satellite cells, you can see this blue line as a ring around the cells. These are nothing but satellite cells. These satellite cells are very well defined in case of dorsal root ganglion. Okay, they're also called a sensory ganglion, whereas scattered satellite cells are not so very well defined in case of autonomic ganglion. So nerve fibers, they are generally many in groups, whereas in autonomic ganglion, they are thin. Okay, so just you just pause the video on each slide and keep studying, you will understand. Okay, thank you.